The CARICOM and the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association British Islands and Mediterranean Region election observers held a press briefing on Tuesday, November 8th, during which time they cleared the air on their purpose and presence in the BVI during the 2011 general election. They also announced that the 2011 election was conducted fairly and freely. The team explained that they were invited by Governor Boyd McCleary to observe the conduct of the general elections process in the territory, including the national elections which were held on November 7th.
The mission paid courtesy calls on Governor McCleary at a meeting where the members were introduced to Madam Inez Archibald, the Deputy Governor, and received valuable background information on the electoral system that obtained the territory and the electoral process that was set in motion following the dissolution of the BVI House of Assembly and the setting of the date for the territory's national elections. This information was further amplified during a briefing session with Ms. Juliet Penn, Supervisor of Elections. The mission also paid courtesy calls on Mr. Ralph T. O'Neill, Premier and Chairman of the Virgin Islands Party, and on Dr. D. Orlando Smith, President of the National Democratic Party. Both of these distinguished gentlemen were exceedingly gracious in allocating some of their valuable time to a meeting with team members.
According to the team, they observed both advanced polling day and election day, and they spoke with residents about what they thought about the process, gathering how much they understood about the process and their rights and obligations.
On election day, the mission was deployed into 4 separate teams, and consequently we were able to visit all 9 districts and all the polling stations. Your statement, which I will pass out, will inadvertently have, I believe, just about every polling station, but we managed yesterday to visit all of them. Emphasis was placed on observing the arrangements made at the opening and closing of the polls, including the security of the ballot boxes, the presence of agents, and the procedures that would assure voters regarding the secrecy of their ballots. Every opportunity was also taken to speak informally to citizens of the BVI regarding their views on the electoral process, including the extent to which they were aware of the actual voting process and of their rights, duties, and obligations during this period.
The team further stated that after observing the conduct at the recent election, they concluded that it was conducted fairly and freely.
It is our conclusion that there was nothing untoward, neither unconstitutional, illegal, or otherwise, that took place which could be construed as having any significant influence on the outcome of the elections. We were satisfied with how the entire process was conducted, and in the circumstances, the mission wishes to affirm that the will of the people of the British Virgin Islands was fairly and freely expressed in an open democratic process during the national elections of 2001.
The overseas election observers said it is their hope that their final report will contribute in some way to the territory's ongoing process of nation building.